Today we will start with the literature, chapter 6, After 20 Years. This is written by William Sidney Porter, which is known as O. Henry. It is a short story, and the theme of this story is our neighbor and community. So first we will have an introduction of this story, the incident, and then I'll read the chapter and will explain. The incident in this story takes place at around 10 p.m. along a dark, windy New York City business avenue. Here it is describing the time and the place where this incident was taking place. The time was around 10 p.m. and it was a business avenue of New York City, and the night was dark and windy. It begins with a policeman who discovers a man standing in a dark doorway. The man then proceeds to explain why he is there. Then the story is starting with a policeman who was on his duty, and this policeman reached to a man who was standing in that street. And this story is all about the story of that person who was standing in the street, the incident that he narrated to the policeman. So let's begin with the chapter now. The policeman on the beat moved up the avenue impressively. Means the policeman on the beat means there is a certain assigned route for the policeman for which he has to follow. Like here we have the guards at the night, and they have a particular route, a particular area in which they will move. So in the similar manner, this was the route of the policeman which he had to follow, and he was walking impressively. Impressively means in an impressive manner. The walk, the attitude of the person, of the policeman, was very impressive. The impressiveness was habitual and not for show, for spectators were few. And when we are talking about the impressiveness of that policeman, it is describing that was not for the show, that was not for showing to the other people that how he can do the things, how impressive his behavior is, but it was habitual. Habitual means that it was in his habit. Every day when he used to follow the same route, he was walking in the very same manner, and it was not for the people so that people can see him and people can appraise him. Oh, he does his duty very good, or he walks very impressively, or he is very bold, or he truly looks like a policeman. Nothing like that. He was doing so, he was walking impressively because it was his habit. The time was barely 10 o'clock at night, but chilly gusts of wind with a taste of rain in them had well nigh depeopled the street. Depeopled the street. He said that the time was not too late, it was only 10 o'clock at the night, but the street was almost empty because the wind was very cold. It was chilly wind and with small rain. So that was making the weather colder. That's why not much people were there. The street was almost empty. The vicinity was one that kept early hours. Now and then you might see the lights of a cigar store or of an all-night lunch counter, but the majority of the doors belonged to business places that had long since been closed. Very few of the outlets were open, such as the cigar store or the stores that used to provide the lunch all the night, but most of the business places were closed by that time because it was too cold. And this was the place where people used to rise early. That's why they go to the bed early. So at the 10 o'clock, the street was almost empty except for a few places. When about midway of a certain block, the policeman suddenly slowed his walk. So the policeman was following his usual route. He was walking, and when he reached to the midway of a certain block, he started walking slowly. Why? In the doorway of a darkened hardware store, a man leaned with an unlighted cigar in his mouth. Why he started walking slowly? Because he saw a man in the street. The man was leaning to the doorway of a hardware store. Leaning means he was just taking the help of the doorway of that hardware store to stand up. And he had an unlighted cigar in his mouth. As the policeman walked up to him, the men spoke up quickly. So, because it was too late and only few people were there in the street, so the policeman reached to that person, and that man spoke to the policeman. "It's all right, officer," he said. "I'm just waiting for a friend. It's an appointment made 20 years ago. Sounds a little funny to you, doesn't it? Well, I'll explain if you would like to make certain it's all straight. About that long ago, there used to be a restaurant where this store stands, Big Joe Brandy's restaurant." So before the policeman could ask him anything, he explained himself to the policeman that why the man was standing there. He said, "It's all right, nothing, no problem. I'm here because I'm waiting for one of my friends, and the appointment to meet that particular friend we fixed 20 years ago." It may sound you funny because we usually make appointments. Okay, we will meet tomorrow, we will meet next week, or we will come to your place next month. But usually people do not make an appointment for the time period of 20 years. Okay, we will meet at the same point after 20 years. So this was something unusual. That's why he asked the policeman, he told the policeman that it may sound a little crazy, a little funny to you. And he said, "I can explain you the things. It is very simple. There is nothing complex about it. About long ago, where the place where he was standing, there used to be a restaurant, and the name of that restaurant was Big Joe Brandy's restaurant." Now the policeman said, "Until 5 years ago, the policeman, it was torn down then." So now the policeman informed that man, yes, there was the same restaurant, but until 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, that restaurant was destroyed, that restaurant was torn down. The man in the doorway stuck a match and lit his cigar. Now the man who was standing and who had an unlighted cigar in his mouth, he lit up his cigar. The light showed a pale, square-jawed face with keen eyes and a little white scar near his right eyebrow. His scarf was a large diamond, oddly set. And now when he lit up the cigar, so in the light of that, the policeman could see the face of that man, and here it is the description of his face, how he looked like. So it was a pale, square jawed face with keen eyes. Keen eyes means the eyes that were very eagerly looking for something, because he was waiting for his friend. And a little white scar near his right eyebrow, and his scarfin was a large diamond oddly set. 20 years ago tonight, said the man, I dined here at Big Joe Brandy's with Jimmy Wells, my best chum and the finest chap in the world. Now he started telling the incident that 20 years ago he had the dinner at this Big Joe Brandy's restaurant with his friend. The name of his friend was Jimmy Wells, and for him he was the best person in the world. He and I were raised here in New York. Now he told that both of them were the citizen of the New York, and they both were raised there. Just like two brothers together, means they were too close to each other that they were living like brothers. I was 18 and Jimmy was 20. Now he was telling about the ages of the two 20 years ago. So the man who was standing in the street was 18 at that time, and his friend was 20. The next morning, I was to start for the west to make my fortune, and he said that he had planned to move somewhere else to secure his future. The day when they were having the lunch together, the very next day he had to move. You could not have dragged Jimmy out of New York. He thought it was the only place on the earth. But Jimmy was not ready to leave the New York because he loved the place and he thought this is the only place for him on the earth. Well, we agreed that night that we would meet here again exactly 20 years from the date and time, no matter what our conditions might be or from what distance we might have to come. And now, when from the very next day when they were having the dinner together, from the very next day they were parting from each other, they made an agreement that exactly after the 20 years on the same date, same time, they will meet here at the same place again, irrespective of their conditions, irrespective of their circumstances, and irrespective of the distance they have to cover to come to this particular point. But definitely they will meet here after 20 years. We figured that in 20 years, each of us ought to have our destiny worked out and our fortune made, whatever they were going to be. Now he said that in these 20 years, we figure out that we all have a destiny and we all will be led by that destiny, and if the destiny works for us or the fortune made, whatever they going to be, means whatever it is there in your fortune, that will happen to you. It sounds pretty interesting. Now the policeman replied, oh, this is very interesting that you made such an agreement 20 years ago and now you really came back to meet to your friend. Rather a long time between meetings, though, it seems to me. Haven't you heard from your friend since you left? He said, oh, really? It is a very long time of 20 years of meeting. And he asked whether you have any contact, any connection with your friend in these 20 years. The man replied, well, yes. For a time we corresponded, said the other. But after a year or two, we lost track of each other. You see, the West is pretty big proposition and I kept hustling around over it pretty lively. He said for a some time, means for 1 year or the 2 year, they used to correspond with each other. They were in contact with each other, but after they lost track. Means they could not be in contact with each other. And he explained this because he moved to the west to make his fortune. The man is a pretty big proposition, and I kept hustling around over it pretty lively. He said that because he traveled a lot and he had a very hectic life in these 20 years, so it was not possible for him. He could not keep track of his friend who was living in the New York. But I know Jimmy will meet me here if he is alive, for he always was the truest, snobbiest old chap in the world. And he said that, but I'm pretty sure that my friend will definitely come here to meet me today to keep his promise, because he was a true person and the most faithful person in the world. He will never forget. He cannot forget the promise that they made 20 years ago, and he would definitely come to meet his friend. I came 1,000 miles to stand in the store tonight, and it's worth it if my old partner turns up. And he said that I too traveled thousands of miles to keep my promise to meet my friend, but it would be worth if my friend would come today. It won't be useless to travel to the 1,000 miles if my friend would come to meet today. The waiting man pulled out a handsome watch. Now the man who was standing to the hardware shop, he took out a watch which was very nice. The lids of it set with small diamonds. The watch consists of diamonds. 3 minutes to 10, and he told the time that only 3 minutes are remaining to 10. He announced, it was exactly 10 o'clock when we parted here at the restaurant door. And he said that 20 years back, it was the time exactly 10 o'clock when they moved to their respective places from that restaurant. Did pretty well out west, didn't you? Asked the policeman. So now the policeman asked that you must have done very good work in the west, do you? So the man replied, you bet. I hope Jimmy has done half as well. So now the man replied to the question of the policeman, yes, I did, but I'm sure that whatever I have done, at least half of that Jimmy must have done. He was a kind of plodder, though good fellow as he was. He said he was a slow and steady worker, but he is good. It doesn't mean if he is not very progressive, if he is not very smart at work, but he is good. All of you must have heard about the story of the rabbit and the tortoise, that slow and steady wins the race. So he was the kind of person. I have had to compete with some of the sharpest wits going to get my pile. He had to compete so much with the people where he was working to get his share. You must have heard about the cutthroat competition. So that kind of thing, sharpest wits. A man gets in a groove in New York. It takes the West to put a razor edge on him. Means it is very difficult to work and compete with the people. The policeman twirled his club and took a step or two. So now the policemen have heard the story. So he moved further. I will be on my way. Hope your friend comes around all right. going to call time on him sharp. And he said, okay, now I'm going to my way. You wait for your friend, and I hope your friend will come to meet you. And if not, then please move to your respective place on time. He said, I should say not, said the other. I will give him half an hour at least. He said, okay, the time is over. It is already 10 o'clock. But still, I will wait half an hour for my friend. At least. And if Jimmy is alive on the earth, he will be here by that time. So long, officer. And he was very sure that if his friend was alive, he will definitely come to meet him. Good night, sir, said the policeman, passing on along his beat, trying doors as he went. So he started following his usual route once again. There was now a fine cold drizzle falling, and the wind had risen from its uncertain puff into a steady blow. Means the chilliness, the coldness of the night was increasing. The few pedestrians in the neighborhood hurried dismally and silently along with coat collars turned high and pocketed hands, because it was so cold. So whoever the pedestrians were there, whoever the people who were walking, even they were walking very fast to reach to their place. All the collars of their coats were up so that their neck can be covered and to prevent them from the cold, and the hands were in the pockets. And in the door of the hardware store, the man who had come 1,000 miles to fill an appointment, uncertain almost to absurdity, with the friend of his youth, smoked his cigar and waited. The people were trying to reach to their destination, but this man was standing at the door of the hardware shop, very uncertain of whether his friend will come. He was still waiting for his friend with his cigar. About 20 minutes he waited, and then a tall man in a long overcoat with collar turned up to his ears hurried across from the opposite side of the street. After 20 minutes, he saw a man coming to him. The man was tall, wearing an overcoat, and he was coming from the opposite side of the street. He went directly to the waiting man. Is that you, Bob? He asked doubtfully. And he asked to the man who was standing, that is that you, Bob? So the man who was standing, he asked, is that you, Jimmy Wells? Cried the man in the door. Bless my heart, exclaimed the new arrival, grasping the other's hand with his own. It's Bob, sure as fate. I was certain I would find you here if you were still in existence. Now the man who was waiting for so long was very excited, very happy, and he said, yes, I'm Bob, and I was very sure that you will come to meet me. Well, 20 years is a long time. He said that 20 years is a very long time. The old restaurant's gone, Bob. I wish it had lasted so we could have another dinner here. How has the West treated you, old man? Now the man said that there is the old restaurant that where they had their last dinner is not there now. He wished that if it would have been there, they could have the lunch at that place. And then he asked, how was your life in the West? It has given me everything I asked it for. So the man who was waiting for the long time now replied that, oh, the West had treated me very well and it gave me everything I wanted. You have changed lots, Jimmy. I never thought you were so tall by 2 or 3 inches. And now he said that you changed. He said his friend that Jimmy, you changed, and I guess you have grown longer by 2 or 3 inch. Oh, I grew a bit after I was 20. So he said, he also said, yes, I grew after I was 20. Doing well in New York, Jimmy. Now the man asked his friend, how are you doing in the New York? He said, moderately. Moderately means okay, okay. I have a position in one of the city departments. Come on, Bob, we will go around to a place I know of and have a good long talk about old times. And now he said his friend that okay, let's go to some place where we can talk about the story of 20 years that we had spent without each other. The two men started up street arm in arm. Now they both have hands together and they started moving in the street. One, his egoism enlarged by success was beginning to outline the history of his career. One means the first one who has a great story of success. He started telling about his career. The other, submerged in his overcoat, listened with interest. So the first one was the Bob and the second one was the Jimmy. The first one who moved to the west, the second one who stayed in the New York. So the first one means the Bob was telling his story of success and the Jimmy was listening it with interest. At the corner stood a drugstore, brilliant with electric lights. When they came into this glare, each of them turned simultaneously to gaze upon the other's face as they were moving in the street. So there came a drugstore where the lights were on, and in the glimpse of that, in the glare of that light, they turned towards each other to see their face. The man from the west stopped suddenly and realized the other's arm and sorry released the other's arm. So the Bob now stopped the men from the west. Who was the men from the west who moved to the west? Bob. He stopped and now he released the arm of the other person. When they started walking in the street, it was arm in arm, and now he released the arm of that other person. You are not Jimmy Wells. And now he told his friend, oh, you are not Jimmy Wells, when he could see his face and he saw that he is not his friend. 20 years is a long time, but not long enough to change a man's nose from a Roman to a pug. Means he said, okay, 20 years is a long time. People change, but it is not long enough that the nose of somebody changes from one shape to the other. It sometimes changes a good man into a bed, said the tall man. So here the tall man, till now, uh, to whom we were assuming as Jimmy, now that man replied, okay, 20 years is not a long time to change somebody's nose, but it is a long time to change a good man into a bad man. You have been under arrest for 10 minutes, Silky Bob. Now he informed him that you have been under arrest for 10 minutes, means for the time he met that person to whom he was assuming as Jimmy Wells. Chicago thinks you may have dropped over our way and wires us. She wants to have a chat with you. Going quietly, are you? Now he told him the reason why he was arrested, and he said, are you coming with us quietly or not? That's sensible. Now, before you go to the station, here is a note I was asked to hand you. Now, that person who arrested him said that here is a note for you, and he handed over a note to the Bob. You may read it here at the window. It's from Patrolman Wells. And he said that you can read this note and it is from the Patrolman Wells. The man from the west unfolded the little piece of paper handed to him. Now he opened the note. His hand was steady when he began to read, but It trembled a little by the time he had finished. The note was rather short. He was shocked to read that note, and it was a very small note. Now, what was written on that note? Bob, I was at the appointed place on time. When you struck the match to light your cigar, I saw it. It was the face of the man I wanted in Chicago. Somehow, I could not go do it myself, so I went around and got a plainclothes man to do the job. He said that since he was a policeman and he has seen the face when he lighted up the cigar, and he found that this is the man that Chicago wanted. But he could not arrest him himself because he was the friend. So he sent someone else in the plain clothes to arrest him and to do his job honestly, Jimmy. This was the note from his friend Jimmy. So the Bob moved to the west and he did something which he should not do. And here Jimmy was doing all his work rightfully. So this was all about the story of after 20 years.